So we're supposed to consider a right triangle. With A opposite of capital A. So usually the capital letters are the angles, and the lowercase letters are opposite of their corresponding capital letters. And then C, lowercase c, stands for the hypotenuse. So they tell us this, that sine of b equals 1 over the square root of 3. What we're going to do is we're going to draw a similar triangle, a triangle that is like the same angles and stuff, but it doesn't have the same side lengths. So if sine of b equals 1 over the square root of 3, that means, well, the definition of sine is it's the ratio of the opposite side to the hypotenuse side. So you could consider this your O, consider this your H. So what's opposite of angle B is 1, and then the hypotenuse is square root of 3. And then you can use the Pythagorean theorem, 1 squared, actually we should say it like this, a squared plus 1 squared equals c squared. And then to finish getting a by itself, squaring the square root of 3 just gives us 3. Subtract 1 from both sides, you get a squared equals 2. And then you have a equals the square root of 2. So we put the square root of 2 on this side. So remember, this is a similar triangle. It's similar to what we have over here. Okay, it's like a shrunk down version. They tell us that a equals 4. And what we can do is we can figure out the scaling factor. How did they shrink down this triangle? How did they get from our big triangle to that small triangle with the sine of b equals 1 over square root of 3 stuff? So what we really want to know is what do you have to multiply the smaller triangle by in order to make it equal the longer triangle's dimension. So look at this side here, the side length lowercase a in our similar triangle. What do you have to multiply this by in order to make it equal this? That's like x in that little equation I just saw over there. You know, what do you multiply the smaller triangle by 2? By 4? Because whatever you have to do to multiply to make this equal this, you do the same thing over here. Take that same scaling factor and multiply it to the 1 to get b. So to solve that equation, we just divide both sides by the square root of 2. So x is 4 over the square root of 2. So that's the scaling factor. To find out what b is, you take what the dimensions are in the smaller triangle and multiply it by that scaling factor. To find out what c is, you take what's in that smaller triangle and multiply it by the scaling factor. And don't change these to decimals, okay? You could go in your calculator, you could type 4 divided by square root of 2 and you can get a decimal number, but they're asking for exact answers, so we're going to leave it like this. To finish this out, though, square root of 3 times 4 over the square root of 2, a cleaner way of writing that is like this. That's our c. And then our b, 1 times 4 over square root of 2, that's just 4 over square root of 2. And then the way I'd type these out in Mobius is parentheses in the numerator divided by parentheses in the denominator. This would be 4 times square root of 3. Too many parentheses, that couldn't hurt, but could help. And then, this is all for c, I should make a note of that. A 2 in the denominator for c. And then we're trying to solve for b. b is 4 in the numerator, divided by square root of 2 in the denominator. Okay.